Hello, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Sean Smith. On this episode, it's definitely a special episode where I will be interviewing one of my older friends, and he's all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. He's a singer, he's an actor, and he's going to introduce himself.
What's going on? What's up, Sean? My name is Gabe Baker. Gabe short for Gabriel, Baker like the pastries. And I am a proud Texan like my man Sean, but I've been living in Nashville for the last 5 years. I've been building my career as a musician. I sing, I write songs, I play the cello and a couple other instruments. And I'm also an actor. So I love creating and storytelling.
Yeah, man, I'm so happy to have you on here.
Thank you, man. I'm honored. This has been a long. We've been meaning to do this for a couple of years, so I'm glad we made it happen. Like for your patience.
So what made you want to get into music?
Music has always been a part of my life. I'm grateful that my family has been very musical. So both my parents are musical. They could both sing, and my mom was a very good instrumentalist. And so since I was young, music was always in the household, either just playing in the household or there people were singing. And then my brother was singing a lot, and my sister played the violin. My older brother played the upright bass, and then I stepped in and started playing the cello when I was in elementary school. And so, again, music was always in the family and always in the household.
Yeah.
And then, just in church, my dad and mom, they were both leading worship at church. And so that was also the entry point for me to start singing. So I started singing mainly in church and obviously just for fun at home. And then it wasn't until high school when my brother, he was singing in the choir, and then he started to teach me how to sing. And he was singing in a cappella group and also in a barbershop quartet group. And so he would let me sing with his barbershop quartet friends. And that was like the real first time where I started singing, like knowing how to control my voice and really step into confidence there. And then beyond that, it was just through the years of singing for fun. And then when I went on that Bachelor show that you mentioned before we
Yeah.
started, and I'm
Yeah.
happy to share more about that. But from that show, and then I moved to Nashville, July 2020, that is when I fully stepped into like, hey, let me take on this musical part of me professionally and try to build it and practice and start booking gigs here in town and everywhere. And it's been really just a part of my professional life now. And so it's been a long journey, but in the last 5 years, it's taken hold as a real professional practice.
So being part of the music industry can definitely be a challenging thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Very challenging.
Yeah. So are you like a Christian artist?
I would say I'm a Christian that definitely makes music for God and then just that shares my life stories. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't put myself in the Christian music pocket from the music that I do release, but I do write music about Jesus, I do write worship music. I'm actually on the songwriting team that my church has, which is cool. So we write music for our church here, and I'm happy to be a part of that. And so I do write songs for worship, for God, for the congregational church, and also for individual Christian artists. And then I'll put out music myself that is about my relationship with God and walking with Jesus. But I wouldn't fully say that I'm like, building my artistry in that space. Maybe God will, make that change. But right now, I just say, hey, I genre wise, I typify as like soul folk, which is a blend of sounds, but I'd say I'm a soul folk artist that I write music that is about my life. And I hope that it inspires people.
Okay, man,
hmm
that's cool though. And you met a lot of some famous artists that stay out there in Nashville, right?
Yeah, Nashville's a funny city because once you're in like the music and creative side, it is very, very close connected to so many people that have been doing really well, who are more well known than others. And so I have been able to create and meet, some well known artists. I do tour with a well known band for King and Country, and they've been doing really, really well for years. And I feel like they are my closest a connection to a really, really well-known music artist team because I'm a part of the band. But yeah, I've been able to meet, I wouldn't say I've been able to meet a ton of, A-list artists or anything, but I've been able to meet, some really, really well-known, some well-known artists.
Man, what's your advice to those that want to get into the music industry?
Where do I start? There's a lot of thoughts that come to my head when you ask that question, Sean. I think the first thing that comes to my mind with advice for someone who wants to build a career in the music industry is that the skill of music, of songwriting, of musicianship, of singing, the different things you want to build in. First of all, it's all like any skill, it's a muscle. And so I think if you really want to make it a professional expression, professional part of your career, treat it as a muscle that you need to train. And that was one of the first things I learned quickly is like, hey, I want to be a songwriter. I've not written very many songs, but I want to be like a really good songwriter. What does that look like? And I was taught on the jump of it. I was like, hey, it's a muscle. So do it and practice it. So your skill, whatever that may be, is a muscle. So train it. So go to work and train it. And then the other thing I'll say is that it's a long journey and you have to really enjoy the art of it and the journey of stepping up to the plate and it being a very, a very long journey, but a fruitful one along the way. You have to take your victories. Every victory is a victory, even if it seems to be a small one. So train and embrace the long journey that it is.
Okay, man. I definitely will try to get into the music industry myself
That's great, Sean. Come
because
on.
I also want to like create Christian music and then country music because I love country music.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's not, who's your
Yeah.
who's your favorite? You have a favorite country artist?
I do have a favorite country artist. Her name is Reba.
Hey, that's a classic. She's one of the
Yeah.
greats, man. That's awesome.
She is a legend, and of course, I love some of Dolly Parton's country music, and Beyonce, some of her new country
She's
music.
got some good music, man. That's
Yeah,
right.
even though some people say that's not country, no, it's country
Yeah,
to
I
me.
know.
She fantastic,
She's from Tech. She has the ability to make good country music if she wants to. I agree.
and that's good that more Black people is getting into that space. And of course, I know you know about the artist K. Michelle. She making country music.
I actually didn't know that. She
Yeah,
is, huh?
yeah,
Okay. Does she have some of her music out?
yeah. She do some
She does.
music. Yeah,
Okay, I gotta check. That's cool. That's awesome,
yeah.
man. I mean,
She was like, I want to do country music. They see me as this, do urban music, R&B, and all.
right, right. Hey, man, if you can, honestly, I think R&B singers can. I mean, they're vocally capable of doing any style of music. In my opinion, they're
Yeah,
very. So, if someone wants to lean in and build some other music out, man. Why not? That's cool. I'll check hers out.
yeah, most definitely. So yeah, so you also do acting on the side. So how long you been doing acting?
Acting has been the newer side of my creative professional life. Newer just being newer than music. Music has been always a part of my life. Acting really started a little over 3 years ago, and it started from just a curiosity. I'm sure, like, I mean, you're in the TV film space. You're growing in it yourself, and it's kind of difficult without knowing anything about it. It's kind of
Hmm.
difficult knowing what it means to even like start a career in it. And so when I moved out to Nashville, I was like, I had my eyes and mind focused on music specifically. And a few months later, I had a friend who was a photographer here working with me on a shoot. And she was like, hey, you should think about doing modeling. And I was like, that sounds interesting. I have no clue what really that looks like to pursue that. But then she quickly said, hey, just send in some pictures to some local agencies that will pitch you for projects if you're on their roster, and they will get back to you if they want to work with you. So I did that, and I ended up getting some representation that way. And then it was kind of a trickle effect of like, okay, this is, I know I'm comfortable in front of the camera and presenting myself. And so I eventually was able to get some real small bookings in town. I booked my first project. It was a short film with some students here at Belmont University.
Mm.
Maybe, and there was this, I remember specifically because it was the spring of 2021 and it was out of the blue. And I was like, oh, wow. I stepped into that project and it was so fun. And I was like, acting is great. I think I should really try it out. And I remember right after that, I happened to also randomly book a little Christmas movie, which was really, really amazing. And again, that reaffirmed, okay, how do I do this? And then I got referred over to an acting studio here in town, which after I got intro to that, about a year later, I started training there. And so since I started training there, I feel like that has really started to turn over the soil, if you will, of growing in this practice of getting connected to the industry, getting connected to. Eventually, I have a manager who's been amazing, has changed my career in terms of connecting me and pitching me and helping me grow. And so it's been just a process of knowing how to build a career, building the skill, and meeting the right people that want to work with me. So long story, very short, it's been a little over 3 years and it's been amazing of an experience so far.
Okay. So filming the Christmas movie, how was that? And how many days did y'all had to film the movie?
So that movie, we shot it a little south of here in Nashville. It was in a smaller city called Murfreesboro.
Okay.
And I think the full shoot time was maybe about 2 weeks, but I was only there for, I think I had maybe 2 or 3 shoot days. My character was a little smaller supporting role, but I had some solid dialogue moments. I was kind of a love interest of one of the other lead characters. And so I came in about, maybe about halfway through the movie and I had a few other scenes. So I didn't have too many shoot days, but I had a decent amount. So that was a fun time. So that came out, and I think it was December of 2022. I think I remember that being released, or the end of 2021, because I think it came back out pretty fast after we shot it.
Mhm.
So that was fun. Yeah.
Okay, man. Yeah, reason why I asked because I want to get into the acting thing myself.
You can do it, Sean. You can do it. That's real.
Yeah.
I'm excited you have that aspiration, man.
Yeah, because I watch a whole lot of TV shows. I like watching movies, soap operas, and all this.
That's great. Do you have a favorite show you're watching right now?
So right now I'm watching this all black soap opera Beyond the Gates.
Well, I've heard of it. It's a Tyler Perry. Isn't it a Tyler Perry one?
No, it's
Oh,
not
it's
no.
not. Okay, but is it on CBS?
Yes.
Okay, I think I misassociated it, but I think I've seen. It's funny, Sean. Actually got a small role that I auditioned for Beyond the Gates just last week. It was like a small, like this character would have been like a waiter or something. But I remember seeing that title for the first time, so I'm familiar with what you're talking about. I don't know if I'll book it, which is fine, but I saw that thing that said Beyond the Gates. I was like, "Oh, that's cool that
Well,
it."
how did you get the audition going? Where did you find?
Well, this is also how I'm learning it, Sean. And it's hard to get auditions, but once you having representation can really help a lot,
Mm,
and honestly changes the game. So I'm grateful to have some good agents. One that represents me out west, out in LA, and then one down in the southeast, which is and mainly in Atlanta, where you're moving soon.
mm,
And yeah, they pitch me for different audition breakdowns that match maybe my physical demographic and different things that could be a fit. And then if that project wants to see me audition for the role, they'll send it back to my agency, and then the agency will send it to me. So it's kind of a little removed from my choosing to get that audition. You
mm,
are also able to self-submit yourself if you don't
mm.
have representation, but the limitation with self-submitting is that you're not able to see all the different projects
Yeah.
that are looking for parts. So that's why agencies and managers, they have a little more of an inside ability to look at what's happening. So that one, yeah, I don't know how else they got it for me outside of they knew where to look, and they pitched me for it and then I got the audition. So But it's funny you mentioned Beyond the Gates because I'm not aware of that show, but I saw that audition pop up and I was like, oh, let me just send it in. So, Sean, if I get it, I'll let you know since you're watching the show, man.
Yeah, because I would love to be on there one day, but I would love to like play a recurring character.
That would be awesome. Yeah, those are definitely the type of roles that you want to book, the reoccurring characters.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't see myself being the ready cast member because I don't want to be on there every day. I want to do something else. So I don't
I
want
hear
to
you.
be on contract.
I hear you. That's a lot. I mean, yeah, it's a long commitment, if you do get on contract sometimes, which is not bad. I mean, you could get a good, there's a good payout for it, but you're right. You can be kind of locked into something if you're not
Yeah.
too excited
So
about it.
me, I'm also trying to get into talk show and then producing my own content. So I'm like, I can guest star on shows, but I'm not able to like be the
Yeah,
recur. Yeah.
that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. But you never know, Sean. You can find your way onto a show. You really don't. Life can it's a slippery slope to finding opportunities.
Yeah.
But we'll
Tyler
have
Perry, of course.
That's right. Yeah, going to Atlanta. He's there, man. He's there. That's his
Yeah.
studio. That's
Yeah. So yeah, okay, into reality. So what made you want to get into reality?
for reality TV. I didn't really choose it outside of it. Well, I'll let me slight back step. I did choose reality TV, but it also continued to choose me. I'll put it that way, and I'm okay with that because the first time I was on a reality TV show, was it was the spring of 2016, and I was casted on American Ninja Warrior, and that was season
Mhm.
8. And so I did elect to go out and audition for that show. It was a competition reality show, so a little different than some of your, drama, romantic reality TV shows. But I did make my way on there, and I've been on there a couple more times after that. I did then I then got passed over to another reality TV show that was on Netflix, but it was a competition show again, I mentioned,
Mhm.
called The Ultimate Beastmaster. And then the more recent one was Bachelor Presents Listen to Your Heart, which was shot in 2020 and released in 2020. That one was also, well, I did choose to go on all these shows. I feel like they've all been gracefully gifted to me. So I'm definitely grateful for those.
So listen to your heart, the name of the show. So how was it like being on that reality show?
That show was, I feel like being on that show was a joy, honestly. It was a challenge and so unique and very, a joy is the first thing I say. And mainly because there are so many things that I took away from it personally in my experience that I'm so grateful for, that if I hadn't gone on that show, I would have not felt the call to go into this creative profession full time. So, and then I wouldn't have met the key people from that experience that has led me to doing all this that I'm doing now, moving to Nashville and all the things. So it is a joy because, yeah, I gained so many incredible lifelong friends and relationships. Also some incredible memories that will definitely remain with me. And yeah, I think, yeah, the other thing I'll say about it, it was really a joy to be on it. The other thing is that it's just unique to learn from that kind of space. I learned so much emotionally as a person being thrown into a very unique and very foreign kind of non-real space. It's kind of fabricated reality as much as it is real and a real experience. So I did learn so much about myself and being in that space. And so it genuinely was a joy, even though it was such a unique and very kind of quirky experience.
So y'all had to like create drama so people can watch.
I will say it wasn't on us cast members who created the drama. It was more through a bit of the gaming that producers do in those shows. They do
Um,
create these environments. And then, us on the show, based on where you're at, the series of events and your actions can definitely lead to dramatic moments. So it is, we're not completely disconnected from us choosing what we want to do in those spaces, but there is definitely some things that are scenarios and conversations that end up being kind of influenced, not kind of, but influenced and kind of pushed forward in a lot of ways because of the way that the show works and the way the production kind of creates different show moments, you know? So it isn't so much on the people fully, but it is a combination of the way that the producers create the show and they create different moments. And then the way that people respond ends up being dramatic sometimes, and then how they edit the show after the show ends up being what they want to see, you know, Sean. So the editing of the show ends up being whatever, a lot different than what actually happens sometimes, but it does create the story that they want to be able to show when the show is released on TV. So that's my very long answer to it. So it is a combination, you know, with drama.
Will
Yeah, it's
you ever
interesting though.
do a other reality?
I think the only other reality TV show I do is another, like, competition one. So, either I do, like, a Ninja Warrior again, or I've kind of thought of doing, like, Survivor or something like that, which would be
Mm.
very interesting. Have you watched any, like, Amazing Race or Survivor? Have you watched
Yes,
those
I
before?
did. It's been a long time though. I used to watch those like decades ago.
Yeah. No, I've only watched Survivor the most. I've watched a little bit of Amazing Race, but there was a time a couple years ago I was really close to like maybe I should audition for Survivor because that'd be kind of interesting. So I don't think I'd do like a dating show ever again. I would be so shocked if I found myself doing a show like that again.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
I
I
don't think
would
that would
not
serve me anymore.
recommend, bro. I definitely would
Yeah.
not recommend go on Love Island.
No, man, Imma stay away from those. Those aren't my cup of tea, Sean.
And you say, "Oh, not your cup of tea."
They're not my cup of tea. If you which is there a reality TV show that you'd go on if you or is there
I
none?
mean, it got to be positive. I mean, I can do a
Yeah, that's good.
competition show, but it got to be positive. I can't do love and hip hop, and
No, you don't wanna do those. I don't think I No, that's right.
I had to stop watching them because they got on my nerves. They just so bad.
Yeah, I understand that, man. That doesn't end up being the most positive shows a lot of the time, you know?
But yeah, I would love to do reality TV. Shoot, matter of fact, I would probably do it based on what's going on.
Yeah, that could be kinda cool. Yeah, these shows, yeah, they can end up following your life, which is kinda cool, right? They can create
Yeah,
a show
yeah,
around
you
your
got
life.
to tell them you can't hide everything.
No, that's true. That is the dangerous part.
But yeah. So, okay, now the part of because this is a Christian podcast, and I love to ask people, when did you give your life to Christ?
Well, we had this call at the right time, Sean, because yesterday, August 26th, was actually my spiritual birthday. So
Okay.
I was baptized into Christ August 26th, 2007,
Wow.
18 years ago, Sean, which is awesome.
Wow.
And I
How
was in,
old I was?
yeah, 18 years ago. How old were you 18 years ago?
Let's see, I was in middle school around that time. No, and
Okay.
yeah, well,
2007.
no, I started going to high school in 2007.
Okay, yeah, so we're a year apart. Yeah, because that was the beginning of my sophomore year. So that was probably the beginning of your
Yeah,
freshman year, 2007?
yes.
So, okay, yeah, so you were probably I was 15 going on 16.
So I think I was, let's
You
see,
might have been
was I
15 then,
15 or 14 or
14
15?
or
I don't
15.
even remember.
It's a long time ago, man, that's for sure. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, 18 years, that's incredible. What a long time. So much life. So, yeah, 18 years ago, yeah, I grew up in the church. My parents were ministers and pastors and church leaders and church planners.
Mhm.
And so I grew up in church and church culture and being a part of that community. But it wasn't until that summer of 2007 where I really sat down with my dad and a couple other good spiritual mentors and studied the Bible and really stepped into the faith and was baptized then. And that was, just the next turn of the page in my spiritual walk of just growing with Jesus and yeah, just taking ownership of my walk, And so again, just there's different phases of it, but so I've been growing in the faith since I was young because of the environment my parents set. But I really put that day of being baptized as a firm marker in my spiritual journey and stepping into the faith as well.
So, okay, so you started being part of the ICOC church back in 2007.
Actually, before that, my parents were part of they're part of planting and leading one of the initial churches in the
Okay.
back they're part of they helped plant and lead the ICOC church in Johannesburg, South Africa in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're part of that church. They were leading there, and then they moved to Dallas actually just before I was born, and they were
Okay.
helping lead the church in Dallas. And then we moved to San Antonio. They were part of leading the church in San Antonio, so I grew up there. And so I've always had a connection and been a part of the ICOC community of churches for my whole life, up until I moved to Nashville. Moving to Nashville was the first time I haven't been a part of the ICOC churches, but still great friends with many members like yourself and still in touch with so many people. So it's been great.
Yeah, I'm still part of it here in Dallas and
Good.
Fort Worth.
Yeah, man. I love
Yeah,
that.
but
So many great people there.
I'm in the South region though. They split. We used to be
Okay.
South and West.
Okay.
But now the West region, they meet in the other side of Fort Worth.
Oh, I
And we
see. Okay.
meet in Grandparent, we meet at this church. We share a church with this 7 Days of Ben church in
Oh, cool.
Grandparent.
Nice. Okay, that's great.
So even though I miss us meeting at the hotel, I wish we could have got a church in Arlington, but
Oh,
it
okay.
is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's great.
So yeah, I remember leaving back in 2019. Then I came back the same year actually. 'Cause I was gone for 3 months.
Mm,
I went to the Pilot House and I really thought that the Pilot House would be a church for me.
okay.
But I changed my mind.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, as long as you keep learning in the right place.
And now when I move to Atlanta, I'm gonna be joining this church called the Pad. But
Oh,
the
okay.
Pad the split from ICOC.
Okay. Okay, nice. But it's down there in Atlanta. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope that's a great community for you there, man. There's lots of good church communities out there, that's for sure. So,
Yeah, because most some of the people that came from ICOC, they go to their church.
oh, I see. Okay. It's called The Path.
Yeah,
Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind whenever I visit. That's good.
yeah. I think most of the primarily, most of the members are black.
Okay, nice. That's great.
Because a lot of people ask me if I'm going to North River. I say no, they on the other side of
Yeah,
Atlanta.
the other side of the city. Yeah, they're a little
Yeah,
ways away from Atlanta. Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. That's right.
I used to, and this is the thing with ICOC, because I remember doing the stuff, they would say they the only true church. And I would have that in my mindset. And I'm like, no, that's not because it is churches out there that teach the Bible.
Just for sure. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
what church you go to in Nashville?
The church I'm a part of here in Nashville is called Church of the City.
Oh, Church of the City, okay.
Mhm. Yeah, it's been a great community to be a part of. Yeah, so I lead a small group, community group, part of it, and I'm on the worship team as well. It's been great, man. Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, I
then.
love it. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, whenever I come to where I don't know, I probably visit your church or
Yeah, you should.
CCY church.
Yeah, yeah, either one or both if you have time.
Because they had 2 services. I think they had 9 AM service and I think 11. I need to look
Mhm.
and see.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Yeah, cause yeah, But yeah, that's good, moving down. Are you planning on staying in Nashville for the rest of your life?
I do not know. I really love Nashville. I could see myself being here for comfortably for a handful of more years, another 5 years or so. But I'm also leaving. Obviously, you got to, as we all ought to, leave yourself open to be surprised, and for God to surprise where things can go in your life. So if I end up getting back to Texas, I'm open to it. If I end up going somewhere else, I'm going to stay open to it. So, but I definitely feel really connected to being here in Nashville. I'll put it that way, which is great.
Texas, I tell you, I love Texas.
Yeah, yeah, me too, man. I'll always be a Texan, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So you travel when you went on tour last year, what are the cities that you had traveled to?
Yeah, there's a ton of cities. We went to a lot. I'll be on here naming I'll be on here for a while trying to name them all, but we went to all our major Texas cities, we went to a lot of small ones. We went down in Florida, we went up northeast, we went up west, we went to Canada. I guess last year we went to different cities on the fall tour. It was a 32 city tour, I think. I got to check that this shows, but we went to a lot of cities. Yeah, and then we also in the May of last year, also toured and we went out to New Zealand and Australia, which was amazing. So we did 3 shows, or I think it was 4 shows in New Zealand and 7 shows across Australia, which is insane.
Mhm.
So we went over there and then but yeah, we went to a lot of cities across the US last fall. Being we went to Yeah, we went to Houston, Dallas,
Mhm.
last fall as well. Yeah, so we went to a lot. It's a good amount. That's my very short answer. So, but some really
Uh,
fun cities. The other fun city, we went to London for a Christmas show, some Christmas shows in December. So that was my
yeah.
first
So
time
you
being
say
there.
the Christian group of country, I mean, clean and country.
Yeah, for King and Country.
Okay, then I love some of their music.
Yeah, they're great, man. They make some wonderful music, and they're just incredible, beautifully hearted individuals as well. Like Joel and Luke, they're just they really are just lights in the world in the spaces that they're in. They're great leaders and they're genuine, loving, deeply sweet people. So they're great people to be connected with, to meet, to be friends with.
Yeah, hopefully I get to meet them one day.
Yeah, it's very possible, man. Very possible. They're definitely around.
Yeah. So yeah, so lately everybody it's been going around on the internet gospel versus CCM. Have you
Mm.
heard about it?
I haven't really chimed in on it. I don't feel like I have so much of a desire to chime in on it. But what's your question? Do you have any questions with it?
So a lot of people saying that they feel like they've been playing in more CCM music up in the church versus gospel. So that's what everybody been saying. They feel like they've been staying away from gospel, the traditional gospel music, the choir and all that. And a lot of people say they miss that up in churches now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the church music culture that you're a part of as well, right? I think the more well-known or the Western modern Christian church, they more than likely play more of the contemporary Christian worship music, which is not bad. Um, but it's just kind of just different music selection choices. And so I think it also is dependent a bit on the congregation. That has I see it in the sense of like, what's the musicality of the musicians that can play certain music? I think gospel music it requires a different sense of musicality from the singers and also just the feel of the musicians. And then the congregation, I think, has to be receptive and kind of connected with a certain style of music. So I think it just ends up being the case where there's more of this pervading musical culture with contemporary worship music, And yeah, I that's kind of my very broad answer. I don't have much of a grounding on it outside of, church leaders and people in those for different congregations. If the community has an interest and does in a desire to want to worship and feel more connected to worshiping with a more gospel centered style of music, I think they hopefully will have a conversation so they can kind of lean there a little more. So I think it ends up being there's never a one right answer, with but because you can worship, there's so many different styles of
Yeah,
worshiping. Even just worship music is just one expression of worship, and so the
yeah.
style of the music is just based on what ends up being curated in the space. So yeah, I think it is an interesting conversation. It is a very it's not a black or white answer, that's for sure.
Because I love gospel music.
Yeah, me
I
too.
grow up with gospel music. The Mary Marys, the Hezekiah Walkers, and Fred Hammond, and the
Hmm.
Ronnie Adams.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I started listening to CCM when I was a teenager.
Hmm.
And I'm like, man, this music is dope.
Yeah, no, man, this gospel music is amazing. I love it.
Yeah. I was like, helps you really, really tells the story of your life and what you going through. And that's why I like. And then of course people in high school say, you just trying to be white.
No. Yeah, don't listen to that. Yeah, you just
Yeah,
you just lean into what you like, man.
yeah. I'm not a big hip hop. I don't like rap music like that. Now I would listen to Christian rap sometimes.
Yeah, no, same here. Same here. There's some great Christian rap. Yeah.
Now, other question I would like to ask, is it okay for Christian artists to collab with secular artists?
It's a good question. I'd say short answer, yes, it is. I think you have to be understanding of like the goal of the music you're creating
Mhm.
if you're a certain artist, and then also really understanding of the conversation you're willing to have and why you collaborate with a certain artist. So yeah, anyone can do anything, right? But if you're in a certain industry, I mean, specifically the Christian industry does have very more specific standards and expectations for the
Yeah.
kind of messaging that you're trying to create. And so I think if your messaging with certain songs or even with certain collaborations doesn't match the goal of the message you're trying to create, I think you should assess who you're collaborating with. Like, hey, is this collaboration going to be in line with the message that I'm trying to create as a Christian music artist? Like, if I'm trying to, does this artist that I'm collaborating with, will it be, are they, do they have a sense of connection and being able to push forward the message that I'm trying to push
Yeah.
as an artist? I think it goes either way. I think even if, does I mean, a secular artist, seemingly there's no bounds to who they want to create with. But if there's a secular artist that wants to collaborate with a certain artist, I think they should also make the same decision. Like, does this artist, based on who they are, the message that they put out in the world as a creative, does it align with what I want to do and the message I want to put out? You kind of have that same conversation. So I think a Christian artist can collaborate with a secular artist. I think you just need to be okay. I think you ought to have maybe a firmer stance and a stronger understanding of considering who do I want to collaborate and what value and what's the reasoning behind it, what's going to come out of it if I do collaborate with this certain artist. I think a lot of times the decision for Christian artists collabing with secular artists can often be because they want more, they want to have that name attached versus
Mhm.
like, is it going to be advantageous or even more effective for pushing the message they want to communicate as a Christian artist? So I just think there's never a right answer. I think you want to do your best to being honest with maybe the goal you have with who you're collaborating with. And you never want to be in conflict with your goal, you know?
Yeah.
But you also need to know that you'll never please everyone. So you're all even if you do collab with a certain artist, you're like, this is what I want to do, and this is the kind of song we put out, and it has this message. You can always disappoint someone, and so I think a Christian artist can. They can. They definitely have full ability to. I think they just got to know that sometimes they're going to disappoint and people, and that's okay. I think
Yeah,
yeah, you can never do everything with the goal of pleasing everyone because it's impossible to please everyone.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but that's a definitely a good question. You know, it's a really
yeah.
challenging question to answer too.
Yeah, because everybody was just so upset when Tasha Cobb collabed with John Legend. I was like, it's not a big deal. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think that one's a big deal. I think there's other, tougher artist collaboration choices than that one for sure. Just because they don't solely make Christian music doesn't mean that they're not a Christian either.
yeah,
Doesn't mean that they can't be a part of a collaboration that speaks life about God and the ministry of Jesus, you know. So I
yeah.
agree with that.
Because yeah, a lot of these Christian content creators was talking about like we supposed to be set apart.
Yeah, but where do you draw the line with that? What does that mean? I think there's you consume content that is non-Christian all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Christian creators or Christians also put out content that isn't almost exclusively all Christian related, all about
Yeah,
Jesus. So, like, what do you, to me, when people say that we need to be set apart, I was like, hey, what do you mean by that when the space of
yeah,
art and creation? Like, does that mean everything you do has to say Jesus in that line? No, no,
yeah,
no, that's not the case. I think through your creation, like, everything is spiritual, and even just every part of your life can speak Jesus, even if you don't mention Jesus. Even and doesn't I think we if I'm talking about love in a romantic relationship, the way that I talk about love can be just from my life as
yeah,
following being a person of Jesus. It doesn't have to be a song about Jesus, but it can come from the heart of someone that is working to live in the steps with Jesus. So I think there's just yeah. I think we can be way too judgmental and draw too many hard lines on these things too much and just I
yeah.
think people wanna do it just to have something to talk about most of the time. There's
Well,
honestly, man, but almost most of the time there's never like, "Oh, that's the right answer," you know? There's almost never the case. It's always a matter of perspective, and it's always a different some people just feel like they did something different. They just wanna do something different or yeah, there's never really a right or wrong with some of these situations, you know? People
yeah,
just people just wanna talk about it.
yeah.
It's
Cause
real.
like it's not like I say it's nothing wrong with Christians listen to certain secular music if it's
No.
not bad.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, if it's just
me,
yeah.
like sometimes I would listen to R&B. Matter of fact, I would be going to a R&B concert in December for my birthday.
Mhm.
Monica and Brandy shout them out.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, the boy in my turn, and then they gonna have some great artists on their tour.
Oh, no
Katie,
doubt.
Katie Rowman, she gonna be open up for them. Y'all know who Katie Rowman is.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah,
And
no, I
then
agree with that.
Jamal, he gonna be on the tour, and then Coco Jones, she will be on the tour too.
Oh, that's great. That's a great tour.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. You know, I always wanted them to go on tour. You know, the industry, they put them against each other, which I hate because both
Mm.
of them can sing, though.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's good, man. That's good. Well, good questions, man. I appreciate those questions.
Yeah, the 90s, and I like the old music.
Mhm. Yeah, I can never go wrong with that.
Yeah, man, I definitely appreciate you for taking out the time to be on here, and we definitely one of these days will hang out.
That sounds good, Sean. Well, when you get to Atlanta, we'll be a little closer. And I should be down there a little more periodically for hopefully I book some jobs down in Atlanta too. So let me know when
Mhm.
you're in the city and down there and I will keep you posted whenever I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah, man,
Yeah, that's great.
I just pray work. I'm gonna be applying for jobs out there
Come on.
because Lord knows, I don't want to be homeless out there.
No, man, no, don't do that. I'll be sending up some prayers for you, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
exciting.
need something because I was here. I was gonna get my own place, but the Lord told me you might as well just stay home and save money
Good. Yeah, that's a
because
great idea.
you got some stuff that you need to pay off. You talking about getting a car. You gonna be having a car note and insurance.
That's good. Yep. Yep. Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
a good idea. It's a
yeah,
lot
you got to be
expensive.
smart with it because nowadays this rent and stuff is high.
Yeah, man, it's expensive. It's you gotta be ready to pay it and find ways to save.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
so excited though. I do know a couple of people out there in Atlanta, and I'm
Good.
so excited
Good.
to hang out with them sometime. Know some of them is married. You know how that can be when married. You got to your focus is on your wife and kids. So
Mhm.
and you're not gonna have time to like hang out every day
Right.
like that. And I'm looking for somebody right now. I don't know if you know what we gonna talk about this. Like, I don't want to put her name out here on these things. She gonna be
Good.
like, "Oh, why did you say that?"
No worries, man. You don't have to shout her out. That's all right.
Yeah, yeah, we're not gonna shout it out. Yeah, so again, man, I appreciate you for taking out the time to be on my platform.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you having me, and I'm excited for your platform and for all that you're doing, man.
Yeah, season two, bro.
Let's go.
Yeah. So where can they find you on social media?
Yes, you can find me at the Gabe Baker on all the socials. Thankfully, I've been able to get that consistent name. So I'm really active on Instagram. I'm getting more and more active on TikTok just with posting things from life, things I'm creating. I also have my own website, which is just gabebaker.com. And yeah, stay tuned for a lot of regular creating from me.
Yeah, y'all definitely check him out. Yeah, you be on TikTok live. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
now
Sean,
found you.
that's how we officially got disconnected from TikTok Live. That's right, man.
Yeah, I was like, I'ma follow him and he
Let's
probably
go.
see my following or not.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm trying to be on there regularly. It's a great way to build some good fans doing live.
Yeah,
So
and me, I try to create, more Christian content on
that's
there.
good.
Yeah, so
That's
I
great.
need to start posting more videos on there. I
Good.
did post a couple, but me, me, I can be shy and nervous.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's okay. That's
But yeah,
okay. Just
man.
yeah.
So
But
so
thank you, man.
yeah, y'all, thank y'all so much for watching this episode of Real Talk with Sean Smith. Be sure to catch new episodes every Wednesday and Friday on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Subscribe to Real Talk with Sean Smith on YouTube and follow Real Talk with Sean Smith on Instagram. That being said, would you like to close us out in prayer?
Bro, I would be honored.
Okay.
All right, let's pray. Dear Lord, we're so grateful for life, for the ways that you allow us to use technology and social media and these platforms to have conversations from different cities across the country. And I'm grateful for friends like Sean and the ways that you're working in his life to create a platform to have conversations with people and feature people. And I pray that you bless him and his journey and his heart to create and be with him as he moves out to Atlanta, get him a job, and just allow him to find continued peace and your leading in every step of the way that he's taken. But be with this podcast, Real Talk with Sean Smith, and let it continue to grow and reach some great fans. And just, yeah, guide us both in our journeys day after day. We thank you, and it's in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you,
Y'all,
Sean.
thanks for watching and see y'all next time. The next episode, Real Talk with Sean Smith. Peace, and y'all come back now.